Now, Africa is marking the Africa Anti-Corruption Day today under the theme, the Africa Union Convention on Preventing and Combating Corruption, 20 years after achievements and prospects. The day has been marked amid calls for reflection on progress in the fight against corruption. The day also serves as a reminder of the urgent need to actualize the anti-corruption commitments signed 2 decades ago. Now, that is what we want to focus on right now. Joining me in studio is, for this particular discussion, is Dr. Isaiah Nyaga. He's the Chief Manager, Intelligence, Strategic Operations, Investigations and Enforcement at CARE. Thank you so much for making time.
Thank you very much.
Let's start with, what does the African Anti-Corruption Day mean to you?
The African Anti-Corruption Day is very important to me because this is the day when we remember when the African Union Convention on Preventing and Combating Corruption was launched in Maputo, Mozambique in the year 2003. So it is very important because we are trying to look at whatever have been happening over the time, the successes and also the challenges, so that we can also come up with a new way of fighting corruption. Yeah.
And when it comes to CARE, what does it mean?
To CARE, it is very important because CARE has been in the forefront in fighting corruption, and CARE has set a lot of mechanism to address issues related to corruption. So it is a very important day because CARE is part of our international community, and it cannot be left behind when we are talking about fighting corruption. Yeah.
In terms, of course, of accountability, what success stories should Kenyans celebrate about your role as CARE when it comes to fighting corruption?
As CARE, you have done a lot. Indeed, I can start by saying that one of the things we need to celebrate is the fact that currently we have an anonymous reporting system, a web-based anonymous reporting system where people can go and report cases of tax evasion, cases of corruption, without fearing that there will be leakage of information. This system, we refer to it as iWisho, and I'm happy to report that in the last financial year, we received close to 960 reports with a tax estimate of 3.4 billion Kenyan shillings.
Right.
So it's a good platform for everybody to report without any fear that whatever he has reported or she has reported, the information will leak.
Are people aware of this?
Yeah, they are aware. I know a lot of sensitization has been done, and also if you go to our webpage, you'll find it is there. So I think people are aware about it, but also you are continuing. I remember even in the last few months, we end some sessions across the country where we are talking with taxpayer and staff on how to use that platform. This platform is not only for taxpayer, but even KRA staff can report any case which they think there is a lack of integrity or there is an unethical behavior which has occurred. And
when you're in the counties, how do people receive this in terms of what you are doing right now, in terms of the investigations that you've talked about and what you've launched, the fact that it's safer, that the information is not leaked? How do people receive this?
I've given you the figures. In fact, the figures I've talked about the reports. These are the figures on report related to tax evasion. But there are other components which also pass through the same system. So I think it's friendly and people are happy about it. And in the long run, I know they'll continue using it to report all sort of components which they have on CARE.
Let's talk about the challenges now. We've talked about the success. What challenges does CARE face in terms of executing their mandate?
Okay, before I come to that, there's a lot of things we can celebrate. Of course, let me indicate that last year also we carried a corruption perception survey to get our corruption perception index. And we had a firm which did that work. And what came out is that the CPI dropped from that 4.2% to that 1.2%. And this is an implication that members of public, they are seeing us in a good perspective, not only maybe seeing us as if we are corrupt.
Right.
The other issues, maybe you can allow me to mention some of the areas where we have also we can celebrate ourselves. KRA also has got a division within the department dealing with intelligence, investigation, and the management of ethics. We have a division called the Ethics and Integrity Division. This division is divided into 3. We have one unit within it dealing with the staff investigation, We have another unit dealing with vetting and lifestyle audits, and another unit dealing with issues of creating awareness. That is creating, undertaking, and education to the public to understand their roles and their rights. So I think also that's something we can celebrate. And also in terms of automation, KRA has really automated most of the business process. And one of the reasons why we are doing this is to make sure that we improve on service delivery and also to be effective. But on the other hand, also you want to reduce the contact between taxpayer and KRA officials when it is not necessary, so that a taxpayer can go sit down through the system. The taxpayer can do the returns, can pay the taxes without necessarily having to interact with the staff. So I think these are some of the milestones which you can celebrate. Right. And there are many if I were to enumerate them.
You've mentioned a few already.
Yes, yes.
So now do you want to get into now the challenges, of course, that KRA is facing?
Yeah, of course. Any institution has got challenges, and even us, we have some challenges. For instance, you will find that not everybody is willing to pay tax. Some people don't want to pay tax, and that's when we bring the issue of enforcement. Because naturally, they don't want to pay, and this is not only specific to the Kenyan context, but even internationally, you find that there are people who don't want to pay, even in the developed countries. So that one remains a challenge, and we have to look for a way to make them pay. That is one way. That is one challenge. Another challenge is about technology. You know, we have a lot of changes in technology. Right. We have now the issues on the digital economy. We have movement of money. Money can move quickly. There are a lot of transnational payment. All these, they call for us to help our standard, so that we can be able also to match whatever is happening and whatever is being facilitated through technology. Yes.
Let's talk about what needs to be done then. You know, who needs to do it? Just to make sure that, of course, KRA gets to serve Kenyans better in the service delivery.
Of course, we have to join hands to make sure that we address this challenge, but KRA is the lead organization and that, together with the government and other stakeholders. So that, for example, when you find people don't want to pay, we have to look for a mechanism, we have to talk to them, we have to educate the public on the importance of paying tax. And then also you have to put a very strict mechanism for ensuring that they are all compliant. I think that is one of the things we need to do, and also we need to rope from the stakeholder, from the government, so that they can help us in the process. And for the technology, we need also to match the technology. We need to keep on upgrading, not only upgrading, but also acquiring new technology as it comes. We must operate at the international standard as far as the usage of technology is required in both tax and custom administration. Yes.
Then what do you think is the role of the individuals when it comes to fighting corruption, especially now from a KRA standpoint?
Individuals, as an individual, you are supposed to pay tax, because everybody is supposed to pay tax if there is any tax which is payable, and nobody can protect another from not paying tax, because that is an individual responsibility. And when you are not paying tax, of course you are affecting the government development agenda. So individuals should be able to report to us when they come across cases of tax evasion. They should be able to make the correct returns and pay the correct amount. And they should act as our ambassadors by telling other people paying tax is very important, because it goes all the way in assisting the country to develop.
Right. You know, corruption is all about integrity, and I know there are members of the Kenya Leadership and Integrity Forum. Could you tell us more about that particular forum from the KRA point of view?
Yeah, KRA is a member of CRIV, and CRIV has got members from both the government and non-state actors, private sectors, and so on. And the KRA now is the convener of the enforcement sector, because CRIV has defined all the members in different sectors. So we work closely with other law enforcement agencies who are part of the CRIV to come up with an integrated approach or a common way of handling corruption matters.
Right. Thank you so much. That is Dr. Isaiah from KARI. We'll be coming back to that conversation in just a bit, but I want us to now take a story. Apartheid ended in South Africa 3 decades ago, but black people still struggle to enter luxury sports. Komane Harold is breaking that ceiling to become a hot air balloon pilot. Zahir Qasim reports from Johannesburg.
In the cold and darkness, Komane Harold Tjani gets ready for a day's work of soaring through the skies. It's been over 20 years in the making, but with the help of the ballooning community, Tjani is breaking South Africa's color barrier for hot air balloon pilots.
When I came to ballooning, I was intrigued by the magic of flying. At first, seeing the magic of flying, never realized that hot air can just raise up things and lift the heavy loads of people in it. And then I was intrigued by all that chemistry, and then it made me feel happy to see people so happy, and then I wanted to be part of the people who make people happy, because I feel like if there's happiness in the world, I mean, the world is a better place to live.
To become a commercial hot air balloon pilot, one must obtain a license and accumulate 100 hours of flying time. Tjani has passed all his exams and accumulated 40 hours in the air. After he completes his remaining 60 hours, he will be able to get a commercial license and get paid to take people up in the sky. The cost of accumulating hours is one of the main barriers to getting a license, explains Richard Bovel, chairman of the Balloon and Airship Federation of South Africa.
The biggest cost is obviously the balloon hire and the gas. Unfortunately, gas is linked to the petrol price, so as we all know, that goes up and down prolifically. So yes, it is an expensive hobby, and that's it. Then, as I said earlier on, there are all the exams that one has to do. There's medical exams, etc., that student pilots have to go through.
Tjani's journey towards obtaining his license was made possible through the support of the Federation and the ballooning community. They provided him with a balloon to accumulate flying hours and assisted him in securing government funding for his license. Fellow pilot Mark Nuttall believes that Tjani's patience and resilience have prepared him to be an exceptional pilot.
You certainly get to read all the weather conditions, you get your equipment, you get your crew, you make sure everything's in place. And then you take off, and then, okay, what now? You know, conditions are not quite what the Met gave us. Now you got to deal with it. It's like life itself. You got to accept those challenges and do it with a smile on your face.
As the morning unfolds, Tjani gracefully ascends into the sky, realizing his dream and elevating the aspirations of South Africans from all walks of life.
Right, I want us to get back into that conversation. That is today, of course, is the Anti-Africa Corruption Day. And in studio now, I'm also joined with Dr. Nicholas Letting. He comes from the Association of Professional Societies in East Africa. Thank you so much for making time.
Thank you.
I had started initially by asking Dr. Isaiah here, what is the African Anti-Corruption Day and what does it mean to you?
Thank you. I think for me what it means is a day when as the world celebrates ideas of fighting corruption or issues of integrity and ethics. In Africa, we have the same arrangement where we also commemorate, and it's that's been there for a long time, just come from the University of Nairobi, where there was a discussion earlier on in the day regarding the issue of fighting anti-corruption, and we listened to the discussion and presentation by the Justice Aaron Rigera, a very established, refined fighter against corruption. So I think in Africa, one of the greatest responsibilities for us, especially as professionals, to ensure that we fight corruption or we prevent corruption from existing or taking its roots with cause from the beginning. Yes.
I want to take you back to, of course, now what your body does, the Association of Professional Societies. Tell us more about it, and then how can you link it with corruption? Yeah.
Thank you. The Association of Professional Societies of East Africa was established in 1961, just before independence in Kenya, and has been in operation since then. Last year we celebrated 60 years of our existence as APSEA, and I'm currently the chairman. I'm the 22nd chairman of the association. There have been others who have been there before, including Amos Wako and among other people. But we are an umbrella body for professional bodies. We currently have about 30 professional bodies made up of broadly the built environment, the health sector, the business sector, among others. So we have a total of 30, and we're still counting additional professional bodies. And we are also members of Kenya Leadership Integrity Forum as APSEA, because we want to promote integrity, ethical values in the society where we operate from. And this morning we were just reminded by Justice Ringera, was the keynote speaker, that for every corruption there is a professional person. And we also say, I think nobody is spared. We need to say that we are all in it. We need to fight it against corruption, starting from the family setup, in my view. We need to start up as parents, what do we teach our children to do and what to do. We also need to know from school, when children go to school, what are some of the things that they are expected to do and not to do in school. And now when they go to the job market, what is it that is expected from them? The current curriculum of Kenya Institute of Curriculum Development has infused and embedded issues of citizenship, patriotism, and national values in its syllabus. But as to how it's going to be delivered, I think it's something that requires all of us to put our minds together. The church and religious bodies have to have a serious responsibility to ensure that all citizens of our country are able to respect the rule of law and ethical standards. And for me, as professional societies of East Africa, we are committed to ensure that our professional bodies have what is called code of conduct for its members, and also to ensure that they are complying. Some of them actually have very established disciplinary committees or tribunals where they listen to views of if there are any complaints against our members. So we have a robust system in most of the established professional bodies, and therefore, if a member of, say, accountancy profession or medical profession are found on the wrong side of the law, what it requires is, as the law takes its course on the judiciary side, we also expect that the members of the public or the victims of ethical behavior and ethical behavior of our members be brought to our attention as professional bodies.
But how has the body now, performed when it comes to maintaining those standards? Have they failed?
Currently, we must say that we live in a Kenyan society. So in Kenyan society, they say you pick even a politician or pick a professional member, all of them are like society. It's like a portion of the society. It's like a sample of society. I cannot say here in this media house that we are very perfect. We have always had issues with our members. And whenever they are, we bring them before the meeting and we subject them to a process of a disciplinary process. Sometimes we remove them from the role of, you have known, law side of Kenya has removed some lawyers from the role of advocates. ISPAC, the accountants body has also removed some members from the ISPAC membership, among other institutions. What we are saying is we have very good laws like the Constitution of Kenya, and all we are saying is that enforcement is what is lacking at the moment across the board, in my view.
Right. Yeah. I want to throw it to Dr. Isaiah. I mean, from where you sit, from the career point of view and what he's saying, do you think these professional bodies actually uphold these standards?
Okay, I may not very much maybe commenting on the way they address their issues of maybe ethics and integrity, but I'm sure they are all guided by business codes of ethics, and they have a way of addressing any issue which is raised, be it by an understander or by a customer. So I think they've got a way of doing it. But now, even looking at the Bribery Act 2016, issues of ethics and bribery are being looked around, and all the organizations are supposed to come up with a very, very, very strong mechanism of maybe punishing their employees when they are in the wrong. So I think whatever they are doing is something good, and also in the government it's happening. Or the government body, they enforce the Public Officers Ethics Act, and they have got their own code of conduct. Similarly, KRA has got one, and it is implemented in a very considering justice when we are doing that and the rights of the individuals.
Right, thank you for that. I want us to take a short commercial break here on Africa Speaks. That conversation still continues. Of course, it is on the African Anti-Corruption Day. We'll have all that, but first let's take our first commercial break, then we'll be back with that conversation.